Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 8 and we will present about understanding and using common similarity measures for text analysis. And the algorithm that has given to our group are Cosine and Q-gram with test. Our group are a form of 4 members, which are Fidaus, Farizuddin, Faiz and me Shahilawati. The contents that we include in this video are introduction, research background and literature review, lexical text similarity model, methodology, result and discussion, and the last one is conclusion.
Okay, introduction. Okay, what is information retrieval? Okay, information retrieval is a software program that deals with the organization, storage, retrieval, and evaluation of information from document repositories, particularly textual information. The system assists user in finding the information they require, but it does not ex- explicitly return the answer of the question. It informs the existence and location of documents that might consist of the required information. Okay, history for of information retrieval. Okay, first, Holmstrom described the first one, term UNIVAC in 1948 when information retrieval or rather device that could retrieve information was first mentioned. This machine could record curtain symbol on a magnetic steel tape, retrieve a document beneath those symbols, and then read off text. In 1915, automated systems were introduced, and by the end of the decade, one had already been featured in a film that set in 1957. Tin Chen swiftly after the Tet Retrieval Conference in 1992, which co-sponsored by the U.S. Department of Defense and the National Institute of Standards and Technology.
So for retrieval model, this is background is a retrieval model specifies the representations used for document and information needs and how they are compared. For example, many retrieval models have assumed representation based on binary or weight index terms and comparison based on a similarity measure. In the past, there have been less emphasis on models that specify how representations should be extracted from document and query text, and which representation produce the best performance. So for retrieval model, we have a three types, which is Boolean, vector space model, and last is the probabilistic. So we move to the Boolean model, and Boolean model of information retrieval is a classical information retrieval model, and at the same time the first and the most adopted one. So it is used by many IR systems to this day. This model based on Boolean logic and classical set theory, in that both the documents to be searched and the user's query are conceived as set of terms, a back of words model. So retrieval is based on whether or not the document contains the query terms. Query is a Boolean expression involve feature variables and the operator. So the matching function is defined by the normal rule of Boolean. By the normal rule of Boolean logic. So next we move to the vector space model. Vector space model or term vector model is an algebraic model for representing the text document. So it is used in information filtering, information retrieval, indexing, and relevancy ranking. And first use was in the smart information retrieval system. So in vector space model, the the document and queries are represented as vector in a k dimension hyperspace where each dimension corresponds to a possible document feature. Vector element may be binary value, but they are generally taken to be weights that describe the degree to which the corresponding feature describe the document or query. So books time show that the vector space model can be described in probabilistic term. Prof. Compare the vector space model with a probabilistic model and show that under certain conditions they are equivalent. The inference network framework allow us to clarify the relationship between these two approaches to retrieval. So what is the next? The lastly is the probabilistic model. And for probabilistic model, probabilistic relevance model was devised by Stephen E. Robertson and Karen Sparks Jones as a framework for probabilistic models to come. It is a formalism of information retrieval useful to derive ranking function used by search engine and web search engine in order to rank matching documents according to their relevance to a given search query. So it is a theoretical model estimating the probability that a document is relevant to a query, and the model assumes that this probability of relevance depends on the query and document representation. So I think that's all for me. So we will move to the text similarity model. Move to next member for text similarity model.
Cosine similarity. Okay, what you can see this is our coding. Okay, for the output we show. Okay, for example, vector one, I key in 1 and 2. Okay, for vector 2, I key in 3 and 4. Okay, this is also similarity between 2D vector. Okay, this is for integer 2D vector. Okay, we can see vector 1 1 2 and vector 2 is 3 4. And the similarity value for this vector is 0.988386. Okay, for the next is for double. Okay, for example, for vector 3, I key in 5 and 2 and 5.2 and 2.6. Okay, for vector 4, I key in 9.7 and 7.6. Okay, this is double 2D vector. Okay, vector 3, 5.2 and 2.6. For vector 4, 9.7 and 7.6. And the similarity value is 0.0.978 987. Okay, next for Q-gram distance. Okay, this is the coding for Q-gram distance. Okay. Okay. This okay. This for the output. Okay. We can see please enter the word. For example, I will enter uh hello world. And enter the number for the retrieval by character 3, and this is the output of the hello world. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
For methodology, first the data have to undergo data cleaning and pre-processing. Is because mostly the data is unstructured. So, numerous strategies have been used to ensure that the supplied data is more organized and manageable. The first strategy is tokenization. Tokenization is the process of dividing a text into smaller pieces that called as tokens. Tokens might be individual words, phrase, or even full sentence. During the tokenization process, some characters such as punctuation marks may be removed. Tokenization is the process of separating a phrase into its constituent words. As a result, a simple divider can be used. The next strategy is stop words. As we know, English is one of the most widely spoken languages, especially on the internet. The phrase a, our, for, in, and so on are among the most often used. The model is able to focus on only the most critical factors by deleting these words. These words too do not convey a lot of information. So, by deleting this, data scientists can focus on the relevant term. The next strategy is stemming. Several variations of sentence supply the new information and instead generate redundancy, resulting in uncertainty when training machine learning model for prediction. For example, the words connect and connection. Both words have the same meaning because the stemming function eliminates the suffix and turns connection to connect. The last one is lemmatization. Unlike stemming, lemmatization normalizes words using vocabulary and morphological analysis. Lemmatization is the process of removing all inflection endings from a word and restoring it to its base or dictionary form, known as the lemma. Lemmatization uses a dictionary, which slows it down compared to stemming, but the results are significantly more logical. So after data undergo the data cleaning and pre-processing, now we then analyze the two algorithms, which are cosine and Q-gram distance. Now I will tell about what is cosine and what is Q-gram distance. Cosine is a metric for comparing the similarity of two or more vectors, the cosine of the angles between vectors. In most cases, the vectors are non-zero and belong to the inner product space. Cosine also formally described as the difference between the dot product and vectors and the product of the Euclidean norm or magnitude of its vectors. Q-gram distance is the sum of absolute difference between the n-gram vectors of both strings. Q-gram also called as k-mers, w-words, and k-tuples. Q or kw etc is usually small, considerably smaller than the strings we will be comparing. We will fix a Q and calculate distance between strings based on the number of accuracies of Q-grams.
And I will present result, discussion, and conclusion. Okay. This is the result for cosine and Q-gram distance. Okay, discussion for cosine is cosine algorithm is used to calculate the similarity between two sets of data. The output cosine algorithm is 0.9838699 for the two 2D vectors. As the double 2D vectors data, we get the output of 0.9798765. This output has the lowest similarity value. And for the Q-gram distance, an extensive experimental study on smooth Q-gram and its application to overlap detection. The smooth Q-gram based approach achieves much better accuracy than the conventional Q-gram. Employing smooth Q-gram may introduce a larger number of false positives. The performance of the algorithm is stable and robust from various species that we have tested. Okay, for the conclusion, information retrieval may be portrayed as an item program that orchestrates with the association, stockpiling, recuperation, and evaluation of information from record files, particularly text-based data. The social inquiries of who will be allowed admittance and at what cost can be detached from the items of common sense of data recovery. The request, testers and changing procedures of the client through existing can be separate from human factor configuration difficulties of how to build compiling interfaces. The client's informative and instructive requests can be isolated from the developing number of access apparatuses and various strategies for getting to data. Data access concerned and connected and adjoined. Okay, that's all. Thank you.